Welcome to the Best Things Podcast. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to follow us on all the socials at Best Things Pod as well. Now, here are your hosts, Craig and Aaron.
Oh boy. Hello, Internet. Welcome to a very special edition of the Best Things Podcast. We're probably going to air these out of order from the time we've recorded because we have breaking news. Well, it's not really breaking news anymore. No, this is the Coach Calipari special of the Best Things Podcast. Arkansas Razorback edition. So yeah, listen, if you're not a fan of Arkansas athletics or sports in general, this may not be your favorite episode. But we had to get it off our chest. We had to talk about this because it's a big deal. I am Craig. This is Aaron. And we just recorded a whole hour and a half long episode. It'll be out next week about movies. But we felt distracted the whole time. We needed an outlet. This is your chance, Aaron. This is our chance to rant and be excited.
Yeah.
This is not just ranting, but this is just getting some stuff out, processing it out loud with you guys. So welcome to the show, everybody.
You said breaking news. This had to be the worst kept secret in sports for a while. It was clear that Coach Cal didn't want this news getting out.
Yeah.
Hunter Yurachek was trying to help keep it under wraps. Cal was very insistent that it was somebody on our side of things in the building that let this news get out. What do you make of that? That he didn't want to upstage the national championship game.
I mean, I guess I get it. He's been there before. I guess he knows what that could be. I guess he respects the game so much.
Do you think that a coach changing jobs upstages a national championship game?
I think this one does. I think it did. I mean,
is there a bigger coaching name than John Calipari?
Who? I mean, maybe if you had like Bill's, bigger than, no. I think just as big as, yes.
Like if Bill Self,
maybe Tom
jobs.
Izzo, maybe Mark Few. Like that would be it though, right? Right now in the coaching world.
You probably got
Ray Williams is retired. Jay Wright is no longer.
Let me ask
coaching.
you this. The back-to-back two-time national championship coach Dan Hurley, if he moves jobs, is it as big of news as John Calipari?
It's possible. He doesn't have the longevity, though.
He does. I mean, Coach Cal is an institution.
He has been for the last 20-something years.
He is a Hall of Fame coach.
Yeah.
Not that Dan Hurley won't be. I mean, Hurley probably will be.
He absolutely will be.
What he's built is just absolutely incredible there at UConn. But John Calipari is as big a name as there is in basketball.
Yeah. I mean, there's just no doubt about that.
And it was clear when the news started leaking Sunday night, I mean, it hit TV, ESPN, everybody was all over it.
Oh my gosh. Shout out Wes Moore.
Who talked to him?
That's what I want to know.
Was it Tyson?
See, I don't know.
Was it somebody in Yurachek's office? I want to know how tight of a circle was this?
You know, I don't know. You wonder, why did it get leaked? That would be the big question first off. Like, if it is, did they just want, because a reporter's not going to name their source, so they're not going to get any glory from it.
No.
So what's the advantage to it leaking? Just to kind of squish some of the rumors that Jans was going to be the coach or Darrell Walker was going to be the coach or something like that?
It definitely felt as in Razorback Nation, even though it had been
we had gotten
2 days.
Desperation mode.
But it felt like when that news started coming out that Chris Beard had turned us down.
Right.
It felt like we were suddenly back to our football coaching search from a couple of years ago when everybody was supposedly turning us down and we settled for an offensive line coach that had never even been a coordinator. That's what it felt like. It was hard, as they say, to trust the process.
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah, you know, and before we go too much further into this, we have no game plan for this episode. We don't know how long we're going to talk. We don't have a bracket or anything. We may come up with one at some point halfway through the episode, but there's no plan for this. This is a bonus episode. Doesn't tie into our canon in any way. But yeah, so let's take you back for just a second in case you've been living under a rock for some reason. First off, this past season for Arkansas basketball has been a train wreck.
It was a 16 and 17 season. It was a below 500 season.
We were both at the Purdue game, which was a preseason
it was an exhibition
back
game
in October.
Yeah, right before the season started.
And we went, I think we both probably assumed we would lose that game.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't expect to win that. And I was fully ready to say, well, it was an exhibition game. It didn't really count. But then we won the game.
We won the game. Went to overtime.
The place was completely sold out.
You had 20,000 people for an exhibition game. They were raising money for tornado relief here in Arkansas. But in October, you had a sold-out Bud Walton Arena for a game that literally did not count on your record. I've had some friends from outside the state say, hey, you can't look at that game because Purdue was not even trying. No, that's not the case.
We were there. They were trying.
Both teams, it was a postseason tournament atmosphere game.
You want to win that game.
They put their 5 starters out that they've rolled with all year. The same 5 guys that you watched play in the national championship were playing in this game.
He was playing at the end of the game. It wasn't like he was just bench him the rest of the time.
No, this was not just for show. This was both teams laying it all out on the line. And so you leave that game really believing the hype.
Yeah.
That this year
we both left thinking, will we lose a game?
Yeah.
We're definitely going to make it to the Elite Eight again, probably a Final Four.
And then you go on in November and beat Duke.
Yeah. Now, you didn't have a great showing in Maui. No, the Bahamas. So you didn't have you lost to UNC and Michigan State? No.
I've forgotten who we even played at this point.
We beat Stanford, lost to UNC, and then lost to somebody else. It was another good team. So, I mean, I looked at it like, well, it's not great, but they're 2 good teams that we lost to. Let's move on.
You played a few close non-conference games to nobody at home.
But that's a little bit of an Eric Musselman MO.
So that's everybody's just kind of like, let's ride this out.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get it figured out.
Like you said, we beat Duke.
Yeah.
That wasn't the one game day was at, was it? They were at the Kentucky game.
They came to the Kentucky game.
But Duke was a huge deal. Again, packed out, sold out, incredible crowd. You beat Duke. And you think, okay, here we go. We figured it out. We got up for the big game. And that was the last signature win we had. You were ranked in the top 15 at that point. And you thought it was going to be a top 10 matchup. And then slowly but surely you start trailing off, and then the season ends with a losing record. First time Eric Musselman has ever had a losing record in college coaching.
Yep.
And you wonder where we're going from here. You had the the love triangle supposed rumors that were floating out there.
The amount of drama that surrounded the Arkansas program this year was off the charts.
It was ridiculous. You had Devo bail on the team a third time. This is the third time he's bailed on the team. Last year, he took an extended break. We don't know why. We'll never know why he took these breaks. I don't think he's ever going to come out sometime later and say, this is why I did it. And then in the offseason, he left the team to go to the NBA, never hired the agent, though, so he was able to come back. And then he took another extended break this year and came back, and must let him come back. The team just kind of constantly just fell apart throughout the season. Nobody was bought into what was going on. And then the offseason comes. Rumors start flying. Is Muss staying or going? And it turns out
he was going
the whole time.
Apparently, he's been wanting to go for a lot longer than what we actually knew about. I think in our hearts, everybody knew that eventually the West Coast would be what took Eric Musselman away from Arkansas.
Yeah.
I don't know that any of us really thought that it was going to be this year, and I don't think the majority of Arkansas fans wanted Eric Musselman gone.
No.
I definitely have some friends in my circle that would, they were on the fire must bus.
Yeah, there was definitely a group out there.
I didn't see it. I was completely willing to overlook a 16 and 17 season. Say,
absolutely.
That's an anomaly for Eric Musselman's career.
I was too, until it drug out forever and it was obvious he was interviewing for other jobs.
You've got guys like Nate Oates that as soon as rumors came out that he might leave, puts out a statement, I am fully committed to the University of Alabama, da-da-da-da-da. When the Chris Beard rumors fired up, he makes it clear that he's not taking the Arkansas job. That's what we wanted from us.
Yeah. And we never got it.
We never got it.
It
was just dangled out.
For somebody so active on social media, he went radio silent.
For nearly a month. I mean, 3 weeks. Nothing at all.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Then we pick up a transfer.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, Muss is recruiting.
Well, it follows that Hunter Yurachek video.
Yeah, you had the weird video of Yurachek saying, "Oh, you're still here?"
Yeah.
That Muss knew nothing about.
Yeah. It was, to all of us watching, we thought, okay, he's used, because that was a video that they did last time he got an extension. Yes. It was, because there was a lot of rumors at that time. Is he going to stay or go? And so they put out this video making fun of the fact that the Muss bus is still going on. So Yurachek uses that same video, records a different ending to it that says, are you still here? And we all thought, all of us just assumed, even national media picked up, oh, Musselman must be staying, because why would an athletic director do that if he wasn't? And then we pick up the transfer and we think, okay, everything's okay.
And then all the rumors.
Yeah. Everything starts flying at that point. Turns out we get word. Again, Musselman has not said a word to anybody about anything.
No.
And then we find out through probably Freedom of Information, or USC puts it out there to somebody, that he is interviewing for the USC job.
Yurachek also went on that podcast.
Yeah.
After, like the day after that video, he went on a no-name podcast.
Yeah.
With as many followers as we've got.
I know.
Like, why would Hunter Yurachek do that? And it was a California podcast.
Yeah, calculated move.
That's why I told you before we recorded that I think Hunter, he knew what was going on.
He had to have known something.
He had to have known what was going on in the building. So he goes on there and he's like, as of today, Eric Musselman's our head coach. We don't know about tomorrow. That's just a weird thing for your AD to come out and say.
Absolutely.
Unless you're expecting him not to be there.
Yeah.
You just don't. They don't make comments like that.
They don't. No.
So you knew he was gone.
And he has done a great job of being very calculated. Now, in hindsight, nobody was happy with him for the last 10 days.
There were a lot of people on the Fire Hunter Yurachek bandwagon. Let's see. Eric signed, what was that, last Thursday? It's only been a week. A week ago today. And it feels like it's been a month. It's been a wild 7 days.
It has been insane.
So fans wanted Hunter to announce like an hour later who the head coach was.
Yeah. Because we assumed he's already got somebody in his back. You don't. That was the running thing. At least for I agreed. Like, you don't do that video, do that interview
unless
without having somebody in your back pocket, and we'll never know if he really did or not.
Yeah.
Now
you have what do you believe? Do you believe that Hunter did that just daring Muss, like? Because he said there's no contract extension on the table. There's no raise on the table. We feel we've compensated Coach Muss very well. So he's like in public saying, we're not offering him anything else to stay. Yeah. So was he daring Muss? Like, yeah, take the job because I know what we're going to do.
We have thought about this about Hunter before, because this is not the first time that rumors have been out that Musselman was gone.
No. He's a transient guy. He's never stayed put. This is as long as he's ever been.
He's anywhere. A great coach.
Yeah.
He's a great I don't know how, he's a good recruiter, because we got some good classes out of it. But he's the importer.
Yes.
Like he knows how to work that transfer portal. That's why we had so many successful teams. But this is not the only. He was always had one foot out the door. And I remember before he got his extension that time, we all thought Hunter's playing chess with Muss then as well. We thought for sure, like, Hunter's doing some stuff to force Eric to make a choice.
Right.
And so I think that's what I think. I don't know that Hunter had anything in his back pocket. I really do think, I don't know how much upper level stuff's going on. There's the rumor going on that because John Tyson went to SMU, UCA, or USC.
And he's an Arkansas grad.
Yeah. And so there was rumors that he put all these things in place
because
to get
he is
Calipari
a good
here?
friend of John Calipari and wanted him here.
I don't know, because I mean, just because you go to a school doesn't mean you have that much pull.
Yeah.
So who knows?
There's also the rumors that Muss wanted to go back to California.
Right.
So he helps get the SMU job open.
Yeah.
Floats his name out there as a potential candidate, but then says, hey, infield should go there.
I think all that's just speculation and us overthinking stuff as fans. I don't think it works that well.
Okay, when Juracek came out and said there's no contract extension, we feel like we've compensated him fairly. Is that when Muss decided he was going? If Juracek had met with him and said, hey, we're going to go ahead and I know this year didn't go the way that we thought it would, but we're going to give you an extension. There's going to be a little bump inside. Do you think Muss would have stayed, or was he gone no matter what?
I think he was probably because USC was open at that point, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It had just become open.
I think so.
I think he was probably gone as soon as the USC job opened because I think he knew he would get it.
I mean, they would be dumb not to try to hire Eric Musselman.
I think Muss was probably hoping to maybe get UCLA, and I think he still probably would.
It's a historically a better job.
But UCLA is doing a lot better than they were a few years ago.
USC?
UCLA.
Yeah.
Because for a minute there, they looked like they looked like that was a possibility, and there was a lot of talk before Muss's extension that he could go to if UCLA fires their guy, he could go there. They ended up turning it around, and everything's okay now. They're still not awesome, but they're doing better.
Is USC a step down from Arkansas?
Absolutely. I mean,
we know now it is.
We're homers, of course, but there's no question.
CBS put out a thing the other day ranking the top 10 college basketball jobs, and they've got Arkansas number 6.
Yeah.
You know who I didn't see in the top 10? USC.
You know you're probably not seeing the top 25?
USC. They do not care about basketball.
Our arena holds 20+ thousand people. Yeah. Theirs holds max 10.
And they average about 5.
So, I mean, this is not a top job.
No, people in Los Angeles don't care about college basketball. There's so many other things to do.
Yeah.
Muss has even mentioned that.
Yeah.
That it's going to be hard because you've got the beach, you've got the Lakers, you've got the Clippers, you've got all of these shows going on in town.
You've got Rams, you've got
so everything.
Pro teams that are going there.
So it's a step down. Now, is it home for him?
Absolutely.
Yeah. He's a big beach guy. He loves California. So
the celebrities are out there. He's going to fit in really well with that culture there. No doubt.
Does Muss fit in California better than he does Arkansas?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And he'll be successful there. But what does success look like at USC?
That's what I wanted to ask. Because they're no longer a Pac-12 team.
No.
In the Pac-12, Muss might have ran the Pac-12.
Yeah, they probably would have won the conference every year.
In the Big Ten?
It's going to be hard to do.
Ooh.
I mean, you're going to have to face Purdue now.
I mean, he can beat Painter. We know that.
In an exhibition
when
game.
It doesn't matter.
But yeah, you've got Purdue, you've got Ohio State, which, it's not been as great lately.
But
Michigan State,
Indiana,
Illinois.
Yeah.
Illinois was just in Sweet 16.
Yep.
So, I mean,
there's a lot of history. When you think of college basketball, a lot of these Big Ten teams come to mind. Mm-hmm. Even though Indiana's been down for quite some time.
They won't stay down.
No. I mean,
you don't expect them to.
Yeah. You expect that to be a place that should be an impactful team in college basketball.
So USC immediately goes to the bottom half of a conference in basketball. You would assume. So it's definitely a step down.
Eric Musselman was a basketball god in Arkansas.
He was. He was revered.
And he traded it for some sand between his toes. And I was mad at Muss. And I didn't think that I could get over that. I didn't think I could move on from Muss.
So we find out Muss is gone. We think there's going to be a hire imminent. We think it's going to. I would listen.
Who was your first choice?
I listened to one show. They thought it was going to happen by Saturday morning.
Yeah.
I mean, we all thought it was going to be Beard.
That's
right?
who I wanted. Yeah.
I mean, I was. I'm going to be honest with you. I was a little hesitant with Beard.
I was all in,
but I would have absolutely been okay with it. And I think we all thought it was going to happen. Now, Juracek has since come out and said that they only offered the job to Calipari. Nobody else got offered the job.
That's what he says.
I'm betting, though, the first talks were to Beard, though. So I believe him. I don't know that they offered the job to Beard, but
like a contract, like we prepared a contract here, sign it.
Yeah, I don't think it got to that point.
You don't think he ever said, "Hey, would you take the job?" If
no, I believe that it got to that point. I don't think that's offered. I think that is gauging interest. And I think that's how they would classify it too. I think it was agents working it out saying, hey, would your guy be interested in this? And this is about what they'd pay you and that kind of stuff. I think that got floated out there. I don't ever think it was, we'd like to formally offer you this position. Because that usually doesn't happen until all the other I's are dotted and T's are crossed.
Do you believe the story that Tyson just asked them to meet together, Calipari and Juracek, just so Juracek could pick his brain on another hire, and that there was like it just dawned on Hunter Juracek, you know what? Maybe I should ask John Calipari if he's interested in the job, because that's what they're telling us happened.
So here's what I think personally. Here's what I think happened. I think John Tyson probably did ask Calipari to have a conversation with Juracek.
No, I believe that part,
and I believe that it probably, as far as Calipari is concerned, was just inquiring about who the coach could be.
According to what Cal said last night, he would literally almost do anything for John Tyson.
Yeah.
They're that good of friends.
I think on that half of it, absolutely. On the other half of it, I think Tyson's going, if you play your cards right, if you ask him.
Talking to Juracek.
If you ask him, it might be something he'd be worth considering.
Do you think Juracek went into that meeting with that ulterior motive? Like,
I think Juracek went into it with an ulcer because he knew he was going to ask the question, and I think he was so nervous to do it. But I think if Calipari and John are as close, Tyson are as close as they have alluded and the media has reported that they are, John Tyson probably knew
that he wanted to move on. Happy,
yeah, that he wanted to move on. So I do think, and there's a reason I think Juracek pointed Tyson out. There's a reason I think Calipari pointed Tyson out. I think he was definitely instrumental, not just in the funding, but in planting seeds along the way on both sides.
The man got the biggest... He got bigger applause last night than John Calipari got. He got a standing ovation, had to do a curtain call. People would not... That's how thrilled people were about John Tyson last night.
You know what's funny is until last night, nobody would have been able to pick him out of a crowd.
If John Tyson had walked into...
If he would have knocked on our studio door and said,
who is this old man? I had no clue what he looked like. And honestly, he doesn't... he's a billionaire.
Oh, he's a billionaire.
And he doesn't look anything... Out of all those well-dressed people at that event he's wearing like a jacket, like a puffer jacket.
Yeah.
And, he just looks like a random dude.
He looks like a random guy.
Does not look like a billionaire at all. I couldn't have told you that was John Tyson.
So as fans, we went from loving Musk to hating Musk very quickly.
And Juracek.
It felt like a breakup, and when you go through a breakup, you're really mad at the girl, and you're like, well, I hated her anyway, and then she finds a new boy really fast, and you're like,
oh, it makes you sick.
Oh, you just
when
hate
Musk
yourself.
posted that video of him and his family on the plane headed, throwing the victory sign,
the same thing that he did when they were coming to Fayetteville 6 years ago.
I had to unfollow Musk on social media. It's like, I cannot take this. I cannot listen to him talk about how great.
Yeah, it's hard. I got a Musk Bus shirt in my closet, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this now. Like, what do I do with it?
And Musk, I'm grateful that Musk came. I'm not one of those who's like, you know what, we would have been just as good without him.
No, yeah. He did incredible things.
Helped the program.
He was the right hire at the right time.
He was. I would feel a whole lot worse about the situation today had we hired Chris Jans.
Absolutely.
Probably even if we'd hired... I was at the point that I had moved to wishing we would hire Will Wade. And I have been one of the biggest Will Wade haters.
Think about that for just a second.
And I think that was the majority of Arkansas.
I will remain a Will Wade hater.
I can go back to hating the guy now. Like, I do not have to get to the point where I am like, you know what? Will Wade's a good dude. We should hire him.
Had you told Arkansas fans 3 years ago, hey, you're going to be thrilled with either Chris Beard, Will Wade, or John Calipari as your next head coach. 3 of the most hated coaches in Arkansas basketball recent history. and one of them would be your head coach.
You know, I told you this. I've told others. When the rumors of Calipari started coming out, at first when I saw it on Sunday, I was like, there's no way. This is some idiot Arkansas fan just putting rumors out again. And I started seeing it about noon on Sunday. But it was from a Kentucky source.
Right.
And that's what I kept telling people was, if this were from an Arkansas person, I'd be like, this is just some fan dreaming something up.
You immediately discard it.
But if somebody from Kentucky has said this, there's got to be a reason why they think that.
Yeah.
And then Sunday afternoon, it just kept growing and growing.
I wish I
growing.
could. We have texted each other way too many times for me to go back that far and look. But I remember when you sent that to me, I was like, I laughed it off. Like I was like, there's just no way. It's a joke. And because we had gotten to the point, like you said, Will Wade was starting to look good. And then we got word that Will Wade's not happening.
Yeah.
And so we were going further down the list.
We were at Chris Jans from Mississippi State, Darrell Walker from Little Rock.
Yeah. These were not names that we thought our university
should have been on the board.
No, this shouldn't even be close to on the board. And it started, like you said, feel like a Sam Pittman hire, which nothing against Sam Pittman, but we thought we could do better.
Yeah. And especially in basketball. I mean, the basketball program was in a better place than the football program was.
Absolutely, yeah. We were a dumpster fire in football.
If that's what you're settling for, and I had friends that were non-Arkansas fans telling me, look, you think the Arkansas job is a better job than everybody else in the country thinks it is. Nobody in the country would ever say top 15 job and Arkansas in the same sentence. I have receipts from multiple people that told me that.
And now we have receipts because there's national outlets saying we are the 6th best job in the country.
And you have bitter Kentucky fans that want to say, well, it's a step down. I mean, if you want to be, CBS ranked Kentucky number 2 and they ranked us 6. So I guess you could say technically it is a step down.
Yeah.
On that
scale.
But
Kentucky right now, who are they going to get?
They are now at the same place where Arkansas fans were.
Because here's my thinking.
On Saturday.
Here's my thinking. We got one of the best coaches out there.
Yes.
So far, all the other best coaches out there
are staying put.
Because we asked them already. They said they're staying put. So
they have been turned down by Dan Hurley, by Scott Drew,
by Nate Oates.
They are now to the point where they are talking about, can we get Chris Jans from Mississippi State to take the job? And I'm waiting.
We're hopeful.
Because nothing would thrill me more than to be able to text some of my Kentucky friends and say to them, you suck. I don't know what I want to say to them, but I would want to tell them that if that's what you're settling for, maybe you Kentucky fans think more of your job than everybody else in the world thinks about it.
They do.
And it tells me that coaches know the kind of pressure that is at that job. If John Calipari is taking $1.5 million a year pay cut to come to Arkansas, and I believe when he put out that video, which was an incredibly classy video, it was a lot more than what Musk gave us. Some intern wrote a paragraph,
which was something.
I wasn't sure we were even going to get that from Musk.
That's true.
But that video that that Cal put out was so classy. And I believe when he said in his presser yesterday that he gave every ounce of everything he had to that Kentucky job, I believe he was in genuine turmoil over whether or not to keep that job. And I fully believe that he thinks that he did everything he could and he pushed that program as far as he could push it.
Yeah.
And I think he's honest when he says it's time for somebody else to take that job and try it.
I agree. Well, in college athletics especially, but any sports team, I mean, you look at it throughout history, very few make it really long. At a certain time, the fan base everybody just gets tired of each other.
And I think that they both were tired of each other. I think Cal had some gripes, and some of them probably legitimate about things there. There's no doubt fans were upset that they have underperformed And I'll say that they probably underperformed the last few years.
Mm-hmm.
They should have done better with the roster that they have. And so I hear Kentucky fans saying, well, that's all you're going to get there. I don't believe that. That may be all we get.
It may be.
But I think that you take those dice and you roll them.
Absolutely.
He's 65 years old, but the guy that I listened to and watched on national TV last night sounded like a guy that was fired up and ready to go to work.
Here's the deal. Okay, this is just a rando podcaster but Razorback fans take here. Kentucky has gotten so pompous. That's the best word I can use for it. Entitled.
Oh, yeah.
Of where they're at in their program. People forget they've been running through the SEC still consistently. They're still one of the best teams in the league every year.
They were a 2 seed in the SEC tournament this year.
They were a 2 seed or were they a 2 or 3 seed?
3 seed.
3 seed in the
NCAA
national tournament.
Mm-hmm.
They were a 2 seed last year, the year before. Like it's a bad year if they're a 5 seed in the SEC or in the NCAA tournament. So they consistently get to the tournament red hot and with great winning percentages and with records. Consistently, they're at 30 wins. When's the last time Arkansas sniffed 30 wins?
Ooh.
I mean, so here's the deal. I think this is again my take. Their biggest complaint, Kentucky fans, is that they don't make these deep runs into the NCAA tournament and win national championships and Final Fours for the last 5 years.
Yep.
But here's the thing. I think the culture in Kentucky is so toxic because of their entitlement that when they get to that tournament, they expect to roll right through. And so I don't think they're playing very hard that first game. I don't think it has anything to do with coaching. Now, maybe Calipari got a little complacent there.
He might have.
And maybe the coaching staff just expected to win. That's not going to happen at Arkansas, though.
I think that, and it's this way for most people, I feel like. When you have gone to the same job day in and day out, you park in the same spot, you see the same people, you have the same routine, and you do that for 15 years, I think it's pretty rare these days that anybody walks into a job and says, you know what, this is going to be my job 30 years and I'm going to retire here. That just doesn't happen anymore.
No.
Most people are changing jobs. Like the statistics say, if you're going to better your career, it's not by staying somewhere for 30 years. It's by changing jobs every 3 years.
Yeah.
So that's for anybody.
Yeah.
He's been there 15 years. Mm-hmm. You get the same routine day after day after day. You can get complacent.
Absolutely.
Because you just get comfortable and it's familiar to you.
Mm-hmm.
This is brand new, and everybody knows that excitement. When you go to a new job, there's just a new excitement that comes about with it.
Yeah. So I think even if he duplicates the regular season success, I think the tournament experience, at least for the next few years, is going to be completely different than what it's been at Kentucky. Because I think these got players and a fan base and an administration. It's all going to be brand new.
I think, because you talked about the Kentucky environment being somewhat toxic. When I watch Kentucky basketball games, I've never been to a game at Rupp, so I don't have the firsthand experience of it. But what I've heard from friends that have been there and what I see is a much more laid-back atmosphere with older fans.
Amuse us, peasants.
You go to Bud Walton Arena.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you've got your older fans who are still pretty quiet. Oh, yeah. I think you have that anywhere. But the majority of your Arkansas fan base, Bud Walton Arena at 20,000, Rupp seats 20,000. They may be, I think they're a little bigger than Bud Walton Arena. But the two atmospheres,
very different.
And John Calipari has seen Bud Walton Arena at its finest.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was hilarious when he mentioned last night. Yeah. You guys were probably here when I got thrown out of the... I was there.
Yeah.
I lost my mind that day that John Calipari got thrown out. That was the loudest point of the game, and it felt like we were so emotional at that point.
We let the emotions.
We let the emotion get the best of us there, and Calipari, I think, knew what he was doing. He knew he had to leave that game.
He did that on purpose.
He knew that he could get his team to respond.
Yeah.
And so I think he purposely got himself tossed.
Absolutely.
But he's seen Bud Walton rocking.
Yeah.
And that's just something that's not replicated in many places.
No, it's really not.
I think what he's going to experience, 5,000+ people show up for his presser.
For a press conference.
For the airport was packed yesterday when he arrived. We treated Muss good.
We did.
I think John Calipari's about to see how good that treat. He's going to get treated in a way that I think he felt like he should be getting treated at Kentucky.
Yeah.
And I think Kentucky may regret.
That's the question
they don't have.
Wanted to ask you. I 2 questions. Okay. A, will Kentucky regret letting Calipari go? Yes or no?
Yes.
Number 2, will Kentucky become the new Indiana?
Ooh.
Because Indiana basketball was it.
Yeah.
They have not been it in the last 20 years, 15.
I would say more than that. When you look at their record versus Arkansas's record, and you look at their tournament runs versus Arkansas runs, we were very similar.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we had more recent success.
Yeah.
They haven't been to Elite 8, Sweet 16s. And everybody's always like, Indiana's blue blood. I wouldn't call them a blue blood anymore.
Indiana's not a blue blood.
They could be. They probably should be.
They have the name. They've got
that
banners.
history. They've got the prestige.
But what have you done for me lately? The name gets you further, but it doesn't get you all the way.
And
they've run out of gas in that name.
If Kentucky doesn't get this hire right,
look at Louisville.
And they were in the national conversation just a decade ago.
Less than that.
And now they are a complete disaster that nobody wants to touch.
Nobody wants to touch them.
So
Kentucky better be careful. That's all I'm saying.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. The grass is not always green.
They thought that they wanted, and I think that they're starting to look at how Arkansas fans are embracing Cal. And there's just that bitter of, well, you're getting him at it. Yeah. He's past his prime.
You're getting our sloppy seconds.
Okay. I'm going to take it.
I'll take it.
I'm here for it. I think it's going to be fun. I don't think that we're going to regret this.
No, I don't think so.
I'm not a guy. I have seen some Razorback fans like, man, this is natty or bust. I'm never going to make that statement.
I'm not going
to say Final Four or bust.
It's so hard.
It's hard.
It's so unpredictable. Even the best coach teams, even the best teams every year, it's hard to make it.
2 years in a row, UConn has ran through this tournament.
That's not
double-digit wins. It didn't matter who they were playing.
Yeah.
They were hands down the most dominant team, and they beat some really good teams.
They did.
So it is not easy to win a national championship. It's not easy to make a Final Four. So I'm not going to say it's Final Four or bust. It's natty or bust for the Hogs. If we get to the NCAA tournament, if all we do is do what Kentucky's done the last 4 years, and he brings in the same kind of recruiting classes with money that Kentucky apparently wasn't willing to spend.
Apparently. That's hard to believe also.
That's where I was shocked that Kentucky would not make the investment that we're making in basketball.
You think about the players Kentucky has had over the last 5 years. Specifically, I guess, over the last, 3 that the NL's been around?
Yep.
To think that we're going to throw, at minimum, double what that Kentucky did. Imagine the players we're going to have on this team. It just opens up the entire world of possibilities.
It is still surreal for me to sit here on Thursday,
April 11th,
after he's been introduced as the head coach, and think that John Calipari, I text someone at 6:30 this morning, and I said, I had this wild dream that John Calipari was introduced as our head basketball coach last night.
I texted you while the event was going on last night, and I know you didn't get to watch it live, but I was like, it's still weird. Like, it just doesn't seem...
Seeing him in red?
It's weird. Having to root for a guy you've spent 15 years hating, longer than that. Hated him when he was in Memphis.
Yeah. And I told you, I said, after listening to him talk and hearing more about him, I feel bad for hating the guy for so long. He seems like a genuinely good individual. that's interested in the community.
All the Kentucky guys are coming out, though, and saying, well, he's selling you. He's selling you the same stuff he sold us. He's a salesman. All this stuff you're seeing right now, he's putting on a front. He's putting on his good face. Well, I mean, there's a level to that. Sure, he's trying to make a good first impression. But I'll take it because what I see seems genuine.
And if it's not, he's a really good salesman. Yeah. That's why he's a good recruiter.
Exactly.
That's why when he sits down in your living room and asks you to play for the Hogs, I mean, I wanted to get up and run through a wall for him last night. I mean, he has you believing.
Yeah.
Not in the same way that Chad Morris walked in.
Right.
You remember that press conference?
Chad Morris felt like a salesman.
That felt like a sales pitch.
That felt like a shtick.
This did not.
You walked out of Chad Morris going, well, that was kind of cheesy. I mean, hey, I'm excited. We got a good catchphrase out of it, but it was kind of.
Yeah. This you believe, okay, there's a real chance.
Yeah.
I have confidence with 0 players on the roster.
Okay, so that was the other thing. Going back to the weekend, like Muss leaves. We already had a few players in the transfer portal. But as soon as Muss was finalized, like they just dropped like flies, Caliph Battle, Tremont Mark, Brazil announced he was going to the NBA. Even Arbogast entered the transfer portal. He was a walk-on. Pinion got signed to A-State. Like, they just kept falling down. All to the point we have Lawson Blake. He's the lone guy on the Arkansas roster, and he's a walk-on.
At 1 point.
He had 1 point. Although, this was my favorite stat that I saw on Twitter/X over the weekend. We have no scholarship players on our roster. We have 1 point returning. Still more points than Missouri had SEC wins last year. Oh. So there's always that. And I don't know what's going on with Missouri football.
Some of the rumors this week.
I hadn't got the deep dive in it to see.
Fingers crossed as an Arkansas fan. I hope these are true. Because that feels like the kind of stuff that's happened to us.
Yeah, it's good
in recent years, and it feels like we've turned the corner. And I want to look down on somebody for a little while.
Missouri needs to go back to their place. Is what we're trying to say. Y'all had a good year. We don't like it that you're having a good year. Go back to your place. Some details in case you don't know what's going on. He is the 14th Razorback men's basketball coach. This seems like a low number considering how long we've been doing this. He signed a 5-year contract beginning at $7 million per season. The contract runs through 2029, a maximum of 2 automatic rollovers. What that means is if he makes NCAA tournament appearances, which we're expecting him to do, the first 2 times that happens, he automatically gets 2 years added to that contract. So it can extend to 2031. The deal includes a $1 million signing bonus, which is interesting because we got $1 million from Musselman.
I think that's pretty funny.
I guess we got it from USC. I'm assuming USC paid that.
I mean, I would assume that they paid it.
So we get $1 million. We give $1 million. He gets a retention bonus of $500,000 each year of the contract. So he sticks around another year. He gets a bonus. Which, I mean, isn't that really just a raise if it's an every year thing? I mean,
if it's happening every year, yeah.
Let's see what else. He does get incentives for each round further he makes into the NCAA tournament. I think it starts at like $25,000, goes to $50,000 for the round of 32. $100,000 maybe for the Sweet 16, $250,000 for the Elite 8, or something like that. He gets $500,000 for winning the national title. So yeah, he let's see. He's coached 58 players in the NBA draft, 41 first round. Think of that. 41 of his 58 players in the NBA draft have been first round picks. 4 National Players of the Year, 2 National Freshmen of the Year, 15 Conference Players of the Year, 81 All-Conference selections, winningest active men's basketball coach with a .765 winning percentage. He's won 76% of his games. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
His NBA stint was not as great.
No. He even poked fun at it last night himself.
He has been coach of the year multiple times at different levels. 31 NCAA tournaments. He's been in of the 31 years he's been coaching, he's made the NCAA tournament 23 of those times. 15 trips to the Sweet 16, 12 to the Elite Eight, 6 Final Fours, 3 national title games, and a national championship. You don't hear about the 3 national title games as much lately.
No.
So he's gotten there 3 times.
Yep.
That's interesting. So,
he is a legendary Hall of Fame coach.
Absolutely.
I think that we should realize how big this moment was for Arkansas.
Yeah.
And
hey, kudos. Shout out. 100-year check. John Tyson. You did it.
I mean, I'm going home to eat.
Not that one.
I'm going home to eat some dino nuggets.
Hey, I packed him on my daughter's lunch the other day in honor of it.
Now,
which is funny. That's the every time somebody brings it up,
it's the dino.
It's the dino nuggets that they show.
Like they do have other products. They do make regular. You can buy regular chicken that's not like a nugget. You can just go buy chicken breast or chicken thighs. You know, from Tyson.
I used to love those Anytizers.
Oh yeah, the Tyson Anytizers.
Those used to be great, man.
Now here's what I did hear from Hunter last night that I'm prepping for. When he said that some of the NIL numbers that are being thrown out,
right?
He said, we've still got a ways to go.
Yeah.
And we're going to need all the fans to participate.
Yeah.
What that tells me is as a season ticket holder, I better buckle up.
Yeah.
Because they're raising my season ticket prices
Absolutely.
again. They raised them last year and gave me a 16-17 season.
Yeah.
I have a feeling they're raising my ticket prices again.
They should at least give you 1 year for, come on, make up for it. Keep it the same. Give you 1 year.
Let me have 1 year before you raise them next year.
Give you a rebate on last year,
Like, let this be the trial.
Yeah.
Show us that Cal can do it in the first year, that he can get us to the tournament. Do you think that we should make the tournament this year?
100%.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, here's the deal. There's going to be some grace if we don't, because we have no roster right now. We're sitting here in mid-April. We have no roster. So there's going to be some grace. Although, man, can you imagine the Kentucky fans, how unbearable they're going to be if we miss the tournament?
They will. And I just think that as Razorback fans, we need to encourage one another. Don't start up the trash talk of, he's a bum.
Yeah.
If we don't make it this year.
Yeah.
I feel like we should.
Yeah, we should.
But we have no players on the roster.
We have no players.
So can we at least wait until we see what we have?
That's going to be the trick. It's not that can he get the talent. He'll get the talent. We'll have talent here. But over there, he had a culture already built. He had a routine. He had stuff in place. He doesn't have those things here yet. So it's going to take a little bit for that stuff to kind of gel together. We saw how hard it was for Muss bringing in completely new rosters every year for the team to kind of gel. I think Calipari can probably have a better success at it because he was the king of one and dones for so long. So he was used to that. So I think he can do it. It's just going to be, it's a different animal now in college basketball with the NIL. You're seeing a lot more parity because the playing field gets evened out a little bit, because where Kentucky had a lot of one and dones and their second string used to be better than most other teams' first string. Well, those second string players now are transferring to a South Carolina where they're like, I can play right now.
Yeah.
And so you're seeing a little bit more parity. So I'm not sure how it'll work this year. This year's going to be a big question mark. And like you said, I think you got to give a little grace with it. But I think you're going to see some good things right away. But when it comes to the NIL thing, the one thing I thought was interesting, I wonder if like John Tyson is saying, I will guarantee you X amount of money.
Yeah.
But let's see what you can get first.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to write a check for $7 million if I don't have to.
Yeah.
But I will if I need to.
Yeah.
But if you can get, $4 million of it,
mm-hmm.
I'll give you another $3 million. Or maybe he's doing a match. Maybe he's saying, let me see what y'all get and I'll just match it. Wouldn't that be something?
The other rumor that I've heard is that the Hunt family and Walmart now also want to sit down and talk about their NIL contributions.
Which would be great.
Especially to football.
Yeah.
I mean, let Tyson and the fans, whatever, the Stevens family, let them handle the basketball side. Maybe Hunt and Walmart's like, you know what? We shouldn't settle for mediocrity in football.
So does this
Let's step up and do something?
Does what has just happened now light Sam Pittman's seat a little hotter right now?
I mean, it should.
It crank ups the heat a little bit, doesn't it?
It should.
Because I think if that's the case, if Hunt, which is JB Hunt and Walmart, ever heard of them, decide, hey, you know what? Let's do the same thing with football. Let's go out and
let's find that coach.
Let's go get some guy.
Let's get Saban out of retirement.
Yeah.
And Juracek's got to be feeling good. Like, okay, we did it once. Who can we go find in football?
Yeah.
I'm waiting for the video of him looking at Sam Pittman saying, "Are you still here?"
Okay, hold on. What's the video? Like, is it he's turning on a jukebox?
Unplugging it. Smashing a record.
This thing's still on. I hope Sam does really well. I like Sam Pittman a lot.
He's a nice guy.
He's a great guy.
Nice guys finish last.
But he's got a not so nice guy on his staff now. He's got
I hope that we see old Bobby. I'm afraid Bobby's lost a little of his fire. I think he's mellowed.
You think he's mellowed?
I think he's mellowed. Just hearing him say some of the things that he says. But him shedding a tear in a press conference, okay. Bobby Petrino don't cry.
But he doesn't have I don't think he has to be that mean son of a gun because he's not the one, he's not coaching the whole, all he's got to do is come up with the play, come up with the playbook. He's got to,
he better be the one coaching it. Sam can't coach.
But I think this is his opportunity to just use his mind instead of his emotions. He doesn't have to be angry at the officials and angry at all these people. I think he designed the play, called the play at the right time. I think he can fire it up if he needs to, but I don't think that's the role he has to play right now. He had to play that before, but I don't think he has to play it right now. As a coordinator, he doesn't have to play it that way.
If Sam Pittman is no longer the head coach at some point, is Bobby Petrino a serious candidate for the job? Do you think there's any chance that he takes over the reins again?
Here's the only way I see that happening. If we have a dumpster fire of a year and they let Sam go mid-season, Bobby will obviously be the interim.
He will become our new John L. Smith.
If he does well, if there's a sudden turnaround, if there's a spark,
you keep him.
him.
Otherwise, you go knock on some doors and see what you can.
Well, otherwise, if you have a dumpster fire of a year,
why do you keep the offensive coordinator?
Why keep the coordinator? Because obviously he didn't make that much of an impact.
I mean, are we blaming what's his face, Dan, whatever, Enos?
The offense was terrible last year. So yeah, I'm putting the blame on Enos.
Why isn't Sam getting the blame?
He's getting part of it. Ultimately, it is his job at the end of the day, but we haven't reached the end of the day yet, I guess.
Or is it that Juracek knew Muss was already job hunting and was like, you know what, we better save some coins,
save some money,
and go out and get a good basketball coach?
It's very possible. Know. I mean, if Muss was looking for a way out since 2023, since last summer, it's very possible. But I think Enos was a big problem with the offense. I think KJ kind of checked out also.
Everybody felt like they checked out.
I think Sanders obviously checked out. At least KJ kept playing. But I think KJ was trying. I think he knew he was transferring at the end of the year, and I think he was trying to preserve his body because you didn't see him taking shots like he used to. You didn't see him putting the extra effort like he used to. So I think he was just kind of saving it.
It's a great day to be a Razorback fan.
It is. We have no idea how to end this, I guess, because this is a bonus episode.
Yeah, it's a bonus episode.
Man, it felt good.
I feel like we could talk for another hour. We've talked longer than what I thought we would talk, but
we're going to do another one of these for baseball.
There's a lot to say. We didn't even talk about our number one ranked baseball Hogs. We had this conversation off camera earlier. Are we a basketball school? Are we a football school? Are we a baseball school?
What do you guys think?
Maybe that's our next episode.
Yeah.
Get into it and figure that out.
I don't know. Arkansas fans, what are we? Are we a basketball? Are we a baseball? Are we a football? Like, we got to let us know in the comments because we have a number one ranked baseball team. And I posed the question the answer of the three. It's hard to argue that we're not a baseball school, but then you go around and pay $7+ million for a basketball coach. And instantly turn on any sports network. They're talking about our basketball program. So maybe we're a basketball school, but yet all the money
national
has gone to
people
football.
don't care about baseball.
It's true.
Even outside of the SEC, most colleges don't care about baseball.
I mean, it's why the games get relegated to SEC Network Plus.
Yeah.
For the number one team in the country.
Yeah.
You know.
So we care about baseball.
Yeah.
It's just hard.
Because we're a baseball school.
I got the baseball A on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to pose I think we're slowly becoming an everything school. I'd like to believe that. We had gymnastics in the Elite Eight.
Women's softball, women's soccer's had some good runs. We've got men's and women's golf that are both really good.
Track and field, obviously another national championship.
No, I think
our hockey team
overall. It's why what do they call that cup? The Directors Cup. We're usually up there in the rankings.
We're in the top 10
because that takes everything into account, right?
Yeah.
So we're usually up there because we have pretty good athletics.
Stinking Florida is also always Florida and Stanford are also there.
Texas, are they usually up there?
Texas is usually pretty good.
But I mean, overall, if we could elevate our football program some, it'd go a long way to help us.
Yeah. I mean, if you're consistently in a bowl game, if you're sniffing around in and out of the top 25, which until last year we kind of were, but last year in football and basketball were just trash years. We just dump them, flush them, and move on.
Think about this: we are coming off of a losing basketball season, 16 and 17.
Yeah.
And we just hired arguably the biggest name coach in college basketball. And he wanted to come here.
More importantly, we're coming off a 16 and 17 losing record season. We have 0 players on our team.
0 players.
We are picked 16th to win the national championship next year.
It's just insane. It's
16th best odds to win the Natty next year. I want to know what the prediction is for the SEC. I haven't seen that floating around yet.
I haven't either.
What the odds are to win the SEC?
I want to beat Alabama.
I want to beat Alabama bad.
I want to beat them all. Kentucky, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
That's going to be...
We get Texas and OU this year. That starts in July.
Does it?
Yeah.
2024?
Yep.
Not 2025?
Nope. It all shifts in July.
This year?
This year. As soon as baseball season's over. They're in.
They're in. Why was I thinking it was 2025?
I don't know. That's what it originally was going to be. They shaved a year off.
Okay.
Because of media.
So this fall in basketball, we're playing Texas
and OU.
In
football.
Yeah,
and
whatever.
In baseball.
And
in everything.
That's going to be fun. Bud Walton's going to be fun.
Yeah, I can't wait till they announce the schedule, the home and homes.
Should we schedule a series with USC?
Man, I bet we do at some point. I don't think it probably happens this year.
Probably not this year.
We're getting OU in Texas, and we need a year. But
or do we try to meet up in one of those invitational tournaments?
I could see that happening.
That they try to match that up.
Which I'm excited about the potential for us being part of more of those prestigious tournaments.
Prestige ones.
I want to play on the aircraft carrier. That's what I want. Kentucky.
Did you see they're playing a football game on an aircraft carrier this year?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Somebody's fallen off.
South Florida and Florida State or something like that.
There?
That's what I thought. Like, how big is that? But unless it was an April Fool's Day joke, I don't remember what day of the year I saw that.
Man.
But I feel like South Florida.
I know Florida State's playing in Ireland to start the year. They're playing like Georgia Tech or somebody in Ireland. It's crazy. Okay. Wow. Well, that was cathartic.
Yeah, it feels good just to talk about it, even if nobody listens.
Let us know. Let us know in the comments. Text us, call us, email us. Let us know on socials. Like, did you enjoy this?
It was April Fool's.
Oh, man.
I just got to thinking, what day was that? It's hard. That's
fooled.
a bad social media day.
Yeah, that's a bad social media day. But let us know. Let us know if you like this. If you want to see us do a sports podcast, or at least the occasional bonus sports episode here on our podcast.
And we can talk about more than just Arkansas sports.
Yeah, we can absolutely talk about it. NBA is cranking up.
You got the playoffs coming. My Thunder.
The Red Sox, baby.
Let's see. I don't have any of my Rangers stuff in here, do I?
No. I keep telling you to bring your stuff.
I need to add some Rangers stuff to it.
Until then, I'm happy keeping the Red Sox gear, some Fenway dirt. Always be with me.
We talk about
Red Sox are doing pretty well. We're doing okay.
Rangers just lost 2 in a row to the A's, which is
we nearly swept the A's. How did y'all lose to the A's?
I don't know. We're playing each other in fantasy baseball this week, which I'm a lot more pumped about than you.
I'm winning.
But yeah.
With very little work involved.
It's the first year to play fantasy baseball in a long time for me. It's probably been 10 years since I played.
Same. I was probably, with you, is probably the last time I did it.
Probably. I'm like having to learn who the guys in baseball are. Like, I don't even know who you have.
So many people.
I know, like 10 players.
I'm used to.
I know my team.
I'm used to doing a lineup like once a week, and I'm having to pay attention.
Yeah.
And I haven't been. That's just how it is.
Oh.
Anyway, all right. Well, you got anything else, I guess?
No, just woo pig.
Woo pig.
I'm going to get back on Twitter, dump on some Kentucky fans.
I don't know when we'll I guess this will publish Monday. We'll just so we're recording this on Thursday. It's going to come out on Monday, the 15th, tax day. So we may have some players. We may actually have some players on the team by Monday. So some of this may be old news by then. I don't know.
I hope it is. Yeah. I hope we have half a roster by Monday.
I hope we actually have some people. It'd be great. All right. Well, that's it for the best things. I am Craig.
I'm Aaron.
Woo pig. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Best Things Podcast. If you liked today's episode, subscribe and leave us a review wherever you're listening now. And remember, connect with us on the socials at Best Things Pod, and you may hear your take on an upcoming episode.